Hello, the PSN community. I'm Asif, the community manager, and today for Feature Friday, I am joined by the very talented Raj Beri. Welcome, Raj. It's great to have you. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for the invite. Yeah, looking forward to sharing and answering some of your questions.
Amazing. So obviously many of our viewers may recognize you, but would you like to tell our viewers exactly what you do?
Well, currently, obviously, as you go through life, you change various things. So I won't go too far back, but currently, and certainly the last 10 years, I've been a full-time property investor. And then along the way, as the opportunities have presented themselves, I coach and mentor people one-to-one when required. And also I'm co-editor of YPN Magazine. That's my current kind of mix of stuff that I do property related.
So how did you get into it?
So, I mean, the thing is, people get into property for all sorts of reasons. And obviously, because I've done a lot of interviews myself for YPN, we ask that question as well. And it can be anything from you don't like the job and don't like the boss. But for me, I think it was a bit more bland than that. I'd already been investing in shares in my own company, AstraZeneca Pharmaceuticals, for quite a few years. And I just wanted to diversify into something else. And property just kind of caught my eyes. I don't really have a background in property. Family doesn't have a background in property, so I'm kind of the first person who's sort of done it. So that was it, really. I just thought, you know what, I want to generate income, which from stocks and shares comes from dividends. I just want to get into a different asset class, I suppose that's the right word to use. So property is kind of where it started. Made a few really bad mistakes, which we all do. And then 2008, then I started doing what I consider properly, professionally, with the ability to look at the numbers, stack the deals, that kind of level, higher level, basically. So that's kind of how I got into property, and just got started with one. Then obviously the portfolio built over the years. That was in 2008 when I started.
Amazing. So you've been investing for over 15 years. What would you say your biggest win has been so far?
I think if you look at the ultimate goal, which is eventually what it became, because with life you don't know what's going to happen, and things dramatically took a turn in 2011 because I got made redundant, and shortly after that my wife got made redundant. Thankfully, we'd been doing property for 3 or 4 years. So I guess the biggest win now, looking back, is the fact that we've replaced our salaries with income from property, and that's happened through, I guess, the other win, which is just learning a couple of different high cash flowing, kind of strategies, if you want to call them, because you've still got to put food on the table. We don't work, in terms of for an employer. We're both kind of employees. We were, but obviously we're now, business owners and generate our income from the portfolio. So a couple of big wins, just replacing that income and just learning a few different, strategies that have been deployed quite successfully.
Amazing. And property can be difficult as well. So what would you say your biggest learning has been so far?
Learn from others. Honestly, I'm not a pioneer, and I'll never be a pioneer. So the early mistakes was because you don't, what the cliche, I know it's a cliche, you don't know what you don't know. So if I'm learning anything new now or refreshing, I will get training from other people. Okay. Typically, I don't go on courses and stuff now because that's kind of a room full of 20, 30 people. So I pay the extra by trying to get one-to-one. Okay. And I find an individual who's doing what I want to do. And then I'll basically, it's a conversation to say, look, do you offer something? Because it can become more bespoke rather than just, one person at the front telling 20 people in the audience who are all at different levels. So I tend to decide what it is I want to learn. And then I'll usually go one-to-one and find somebody, so that's been my learning, get whichever way you do it, get educated. And we all like quotes. And one of the ones I heard very early on is that if you think education is expensive, try ignorance.
Very true. Very true. So what are you currently learning about, and what are your plans for the future?
So, well, obviously, it's a very difficult market at the moment with interest rates, and we all know that. But bizarrely, as I've been telling a few people in the last couple of weeks, is that obviously cash flow can be hit because,
Mhm.
you know, yes, we all go for fixed mortgages, but fixed mortgages also come to an end. And, you know, if you fixed it 5 years ago and it's ending next month, 3 months, there's not much you can do about that. So the interest rates, you know, are having an impact on cash flow. You know, that's inevitable. Okay, interest rate on any loan goes up, you're gonna pay more. Okay, that's the reality. So, but bizarrely, this is the right time to go and buy property because this is when others who are looking to sell won't be able to sell.
Mhm.
Okay, so you take a short-term hit on cash flow. So bizarrely, I'm actually going back into the market when others are exiting the market. So cash flow will be low for now, but we hope interest rates come down. So now's the right time to actually acquire the asset, even though you won't get as much cash flow as you would do when interest rates are lower. So I'm actually going back in the market, and a couple of things I'm going back in for are what I call rinse and repeat. So these are things I already know what to do.
Mhm.
Okay, things that are part of my portfolio. So, you know, buy-to-lets, for example, I've done quite a lot of in the past. HMOs, fair number. So those are my go-to rinse and repeat, as I call it. We all like learning new things. And pre-COVID, I was actually going to move into development, so slightly bigger projects,
Mhm.
conversions, all that stuff. But I got put off because of all the issues that happened during COVID. So I'm going back to rinse and repeat. And also, the other thing that's caught my eye is title splitting. Okay, but very niche form of title splitting, which is because I'm lazy. I'm really lazy, and I don't want to develop,
Mhm.
and I don't want to take an office block and convert it. So my niche of a niche is a pre-existing block. Okay,
Mhm.
where somebody's already split the utilities, 5 to 8 flats in a block, but I'm not doing the conversion. But I am looking for something that's kind of run down, and it's on one freehold. Probably everybody's chasing it, but slightly more expensive.
Mhm.
So obviously, not everybody's going to be able to go for that. Lenders typically will expect you to have some experience. So yeah, so it's more buy to lets, but if you like, 6 buy to lets in one block.
Supercharged. Yeah.
Yeah,
Supercharged
rather than
by
yeah. Yeah, as I say, I'm not really interested in development. That's kind of come and gone for me, unfortunately. COVID happened, and you know, because I couldn't do anything properly for a year and a bit, I kind of lost interest in that. So yeah, so I'm not a big one to have 20 strategies on the go. I think you should become master of a few. I've always believed that, which is
Mhm.
why I work for YPN. People are a bit surprised that my entire portfolio is either buy to let or HMOs, and they said, "Oh, you've not done this, this, and this." I said, "No,"
Mhm.
because it is a generation, and you know, you can do variety, but you can do rinse and repeat, just to keep doing the same thing again and again. And if you learn to buy properly, which we all try and do, it's a difficult, but you can just keep recycling your deposits. I've never worked with other investors. I've never run out of money because I just get, you know, I've just got good at buying the right thing, adding value, and refinancing and going again. So you know, there's no need to borrow other people's money. Just use your own, because that's the cheapest form of money. Because
Mhm.
if it's in your own bank account, it's not earning anything. So yeah, it's worked okay. So yeah, a bit of both really, rinse and repeat, and title splitting for something a
And
bit.
title splitting as well. No, that's fantastic. And if you could go back to being 16 years old, what advice would you give yourself?
Um, it's a cliche, but I just wish. I mean, I didn't get started until I was 48.
Wow, okay.
I know you're gonna do the numbers, say you don't look that old. Well,
I was
I am.
thinking that exact thing then, but there we go.
I am. So I didn't get started till I was 48. So the only advice I would give to anybody who's is young, and I know it might be hard, but there are strategies you can do. Start early. And I had nobody. That's the advice I'd give to myself. You know, somebody else should have given to me. But as I said at the beginning, I have no business background. I have no family in property, and you know, nobody said, "Do you know what? Bricks and mortar will stand the test of time." Okay,
Mhm.
seriously, sit me down and say, here's something you could start right now. Maybe not at 16, but you know, you can start learning. So I'm trying to avoid that because I am older than you think I am. A couple of my kids are married, and I'm actually getting them started as soon as they can. Okay, and obviously they're much younger than I am, but I tell them not to worry. I said I was 48 before I really somebody probably mentioned, how about property? It wasn't family. So that's what I would tell a younger self is, get started, even if it's just immersing yourself, educating yourself. Okay, 16 is not early, 18 is not early. You may need to partner up with somebody because banks won't really lend to you. You could start things like rent to rent, but even there, you're going to need a few £1,000s to, do the place up before you rent it out. Partner with somebody, okay? Find somebody. It could be a relative, could be somebody you meet. But if you don't go out there and show that level of interest, well, you're never going to attract anybody into your life. If you've got a lot of energy, a lot of get up and go, willingness to learn, be open, you will find people if you just come across like that, So yeah, long way around. That's what I'll tell my younger self. Get started, for goodness sake, because you can carry on with your day job. I did.
Yeah.
I was doing property part-time in the early days and full-time work, and I would have carried on like that, but I got made redundant, which made the decision to leave my corporate kind of role at AstraZeneca and become full-time about 12 years ago. So that's so that's what I would tell me.
Well, that's amazing advice, and I hope our viewers, especially our younger viewers who are watching this, do take that. I've got a younger brother who is just turned 20 recently, and himself, he's looking to get into property within this year as well, and I've given them the exact same advice as well, so that's fantastic. Right, so one of the things that we like to do with our community members is to get to know them a little bit better, more behind the property. So I play a little game. It's called This or That, and it's just two options. Number one option might be apple, number two might be banana, and you just have to quickly say which one you prefer. It's really straightforward and simple. Right, the first one is coffee or tea.
Tea.
Okay, Apple or Samsung.
Apple.
Facebook or LinkedIn.
Facebook.
Dogs or cats.
Dogs.
And finally, would you like to be the richest man in the world or the smartest man in the world?
Smartest.
Brilliant. Well, Raj, you've been absolutely fantastic. Is there anything else you would like to add for our lovely viewers?
Yeah, I mean, just an overall thing, which I think you don't, because like everybody else out there, I read a lot of mindset, personal development stuff. I don't get stuck on it, but you're not always going to see what's coming ahead. And a lot of the books will tell you that, just focus on, it's a cliche, but focus on the journey, the next step and all the rest of it. And you won't realize for some time until, I guess I don't like to use the word made it, but what's waiting on the other side if you want it, and I show a diagram like this when I'm giving talks, is that you get a heck of a lot of choices in life. And I've never come across, I mean, I've got family who own businesses, not property. I've never come across any other business like property, which is so leveraged. Okay, I don't have staff, nothing. Okay, obviously we use contractors and everything like that. So choices, so doing property will give you time, lots of time, because it's all leveraged, isn't it? I mean, I'm not going there to do the repairs, and these days don't even do the management because we've got agents now in place. But it'll give you a lot of choices, and that's a really, really important thing to look at right now, because that's what I've found. With the choices, I've got time for family, I've got time for travel, I've got time for charity, I've got time for hobbies. Okay, and most of those, all of those, none of those pay any money. Okay, but it's because I got the choices to do those while the money side is kind of being taken care of. I mean, it's not passive. I never call property passive. I just call it highly leveraged, because there's always stuff to do. Okay, there's always stuff to do, even if you're dealing with an agent. You can't do nothing. That's passive. So that's what I would say. Just get started. Eventually, at some point, depending on how you get on, you will generate a heck of a lot of time, and you can carry on doing a lot more property. I tend to not do that much property, although I'm going back in the market, and I tend to have lots of times to do all the other categories now. So my week is a combination of bits of property and family, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, just that's the only thing I would tell your viewers, your listeners. Get out there, get started. You're going to get a lot of time, and you're going to get a lot of choices, and you're going to be thankful that you did.
No, that's amazing. Well, PSN community, I hope you found some real value in today's Feature Friday, and please do connect with Raj as well. as you can see, he's given you a lot of value and he's got a lot of experience and seems like a proper sound guy, doesn't he? So thank you very much, Raj, for your time. And PSN community, we'll see you very soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting. Thanks a lot.